Come to kneeling on your shins. Hands resting on the thighs. Tuck the toes back behind you, sitting back on your heels. And then let's just take a few moments to check in with the breath. Start to find the sound of the ocean against the back of your throat. Three more breaths. You might even get an extra one in. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Let's just come into a forward fold. Plant your palms. Lift your hips. Walk the hands back. Keep a bend in the knees, but make sure your feet are parallel and just ragdoll over the legs. If you want to grab for opposite elbows, you can. Or maybe just leave your hands on the floor. And let's continue with the ocean breath. Perhaps focusing a little bit more on the exhales. Because with each breath out, if we find our Uddiyana Bandha, navel to spine, coupled with our Mula Bandha, lifting of the pelvic floor, we'll carve out a little extra space for this forward fold. But either way, we're starting out passive. And then grab your ankles. Give yourself a squeeze down to the legs. See if you can bury your face in between the shins. Take a breath in. With your exhale, start to straighten the legs, hugging your rib cage to the thighs. Inhale, you can soften that. Exhale, straighten it out. Squeeze yourself in. Make sure the head is relaxed, neck is relaxed. One more time. Breathing in deep. And exhaling out. Release, tent the fingers or bring your hands onto your shins to lengthen and lift the spine. With your exhale, crawl your hands forward into a plank pose. Try to line your shoulders up over the tips of the fingers so it'll be a slightly shorter plank pose. And then simply bend the knees, send the hips back, downward facing dog. Let's pulse a few times between plank and down dog. Inhale, heels high, ripple forward. Shoulders forward, exhale, knees bend, send the hips back, down dog. Inhale again, rippling forward, dome the back like a Halloween cat. Exhale, push back. 3 more times, inhale forward. Exhale back. 2, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. From down dog, take your right leg up into the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Drive your heart towards your standing foot, really opening up through the armpits. Straighten through the top leg. Exhale, bring the knee over to the left elbow. Try to dome the back. Send the leg back, dog split. Knee to the right elbow. Again, push away from the floor. Send the leg back, dog split. Let's step that foot all the way forward in between the hands. Tent the fingers, look forward, breathing in. Straighten the front leg, bow the head. Inhale to bend that knee. Exhale, pulling back. One more time, bend the knee. And then exhale, pull back. Inhale to bend the knee. Exhale, step back to plank pose. Lower halfway down through your yoga push-up, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Tuck the toes at the back of the mat. Send the hips back, downward facing dog. Breathe in deep. Exhale out full. Left dog split. Bend the knee, open the hip, even out your shoulders to the floor, push your chest back. Inhale, straighten through the top leg. Exhale, bring that knee over to the right elbow. Send the leg back, dog split. Left elbow. Send it back. Step it forward. Runner's lunge, breathing in. Straighten the front leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the front leg. One more time, breathing in deep. Exhaling out full. Inhale to low lunge. Exhale to plank pose chaturanga. Continue to breathe out as you lower forward and down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shorten up your down dog by about a hand print. And then reach your right hand over to the left ankle. And then push into that left hand to lengthen through the armpit and side waist. Take a peek up underneath your left armpit towards the ceiling above. And then as you pull, try to square the shoulders off to that side wall. Inhale. And exhale. Release that hand down, switching out your sides. Left to the right. Grab and pull. Got about 3 breaths here. Get longer with each exhale. So we never want to just hold the pose up. There's a little bit of a squeeze with each breath out. One more time, breathing deep. Exhale out full. Release the hands down. Come forward to plank pose. Adjust as you need to. Since we shortened up our dog, let's take another vinyasa, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Lower onto your shins. Sit back on your heels. Let the hands rest on the thighs. Take 3 breaths. Let's return back into downward facing dog. Bring the big toes to touch, feet slightly forward. Bend the knees, squat back. Look forward, breathe all the air out. And then step or take a hop to the top of the mat. Inhale to lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale. Arms up over the head, press the palms, look at the thumbs. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Take a breath in. And breathe out. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to prepare, Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga Dandasana, you can step back or take a quiet float back. Inhale to upward, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stay and breathe for 3. Two, we're trying to get longer with each breath out, longer from hands to tailbone, and longer in the backs of the legs by pressing your heels down. One more breath in, and breathing out. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, squeeze back. Step or float. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, prepare. Hands down, feet back, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. 4. 3. 2, and 1. Inhale, prepare. Pull back. Step or float. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bow down. Arms up high. Hands by your sides. One more lap. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive deep. Inhale, prepare. Step or hop back. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take 5 breaths here, which is traditionally how many breaths we're supposed to take with each of these downward facing dogs. Once again, focusing on length, not just for the openness and flexibility, but it translates into other poses that require this strong staff-like energy. So almost imagining yourself as 2 staves leaning up against one another at the tailbone. Finding strength in that openness. Last 2 breaths. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, squeeze. Step, float, or fly. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Arms to the sky. Hands by your sides. One more time to down dog. Inhale, arms up. Dive down deep. Lengthen and lift. Hands down, feet back. High to low push up. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Lower on your shins. Sit back on the heels. And then close the eyes. Take your right hand up over your head. Swim it back behind you, bringing the back of the right hand towards the back of the heart. Left hand reaches up overhead. Reach back behind. Latch up the fingers for cow face bind in the arms. Go Mukhasana. Tuck that top arm on the back left corner of your head. And then see if you can tuck the bottom arm just slightly back behind the side ribs. 3. With each exhale, you can gently pull in both directions. And then release. Shrug out the shoulders. Left arm up. Swim it back behind, down low, back of the hand, back of the heart. Right hand reaches behind the head. Grab what you can. And I do think it is important to grab something. So if you're using a towel or a strap, great, because now you have something to create a little bit of momentum to increase the openness within the shoulders. Stay for 3. 2. Last 1. Release the arms. Take a moment to pause. And then let's take a look at Shirshasana headstand. Elbows as wide as the shoulders. Interlace the fingers, place the back of your head against the palms, top of the head on the floor. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, walk your feet in, breathe in, and then drive down into the elbows to float the legs up. You can always explore with hugging one knee into the belly and tipping the opposite toes. Switching sides. Or if you're coming all the way up, squeeze your legs together. Feel the armpits staying open and the shoulder blades softening away from the skull. Find an easy breath. See if you can lower down with straight legs. Point through the feet. Let your tailbone shift towards the top of the mat as you lower about halfway down. And then continue that journey all the way down, gently, softly, lowering the toes, lower the knees, and then sit upright. Find your breath. Take your time, downward facing dog. Inhale, float the right leg up into the sky, dog split. Fallen triangle, take that knee over to the left elbow, kick the foot out. Reach your top arm up and then reach it forward. And then plant it down, dog split, same leg sweeping high and back. Step the foot just inside of your right thumb, lining up toes with fingertips. Fold the back heel down onto the floor and then commit to the bend in the front knee. Warrior one, take the arms up. Press your palms and gaze up. Square the hips, that means right hip back, left hip forward. Really try to lengthen through that back leg, nice and strong, pressing the foot into the floor. Swim the hands back behind you, lace up the fingers. Straighten the front leg, peel the toes up off the ground, and then chin up. Bend that front knee, and then melt down over the front thigh. You might need to adjust the back foot forward just a little bit. And then let your shoulder perhaps even tuck inside of the knee to see if you can get your head a bit closer to the floor. Pull the hands as far high up and over your head as you can, helping to free up the fronts of the shoulders, the deltoids. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Pyramid pose, release the hands down. Shorten up your stance by about 12 inches. Tenth of fingers, lengthen and lift the spine. And then bow your upper body over that front leg. Push down into all sides of the front foot. Let's find that long exhale to hollow out the belly, remembering Uddiyana Bandha, navel to spine, pelvic floor lifting, to create that further release into the fold. Tenth of fingers, lengthen and lift the spine. Revolve triangle pose. Left hand inside of the front foot, maybe outside of the front foot. Right arm to the ceiling directly above you. Try to create a T from the bottom arm to the top arm. Keep the hips squaring. Right hip, that's the front leg, pulling back and down. And as you twist your chest to the side wall, make sure to really anchor that right hip down, because it's going to try to pop up to compensate for the twist. Gazing up for 3, 2, last one. Lower the top hand down. Rebend your front knee. Lengthen out the lunge. So just stepping that back foot back. Let's take a quarter turn to the wide side of the mat. Bring your feet to parallel and even maybe toes slightly in. Take a tabletop spine. Exhale, forward fold. Chin to the chest, roll up to stand. Let's take high goddess. Heels in, toes out, cactus the arms. Eagle wrap right over left. Grab that top wrist with the bottom hand, and then elbows to the sky, looking up towards your fingertips. Exhale, fingertips tapping down on the floor. Stay low in your seat. Twice more. Inhale, pulse all the way up. Exhale, take it down. Last one, breathing in. And breathing out. Release the hands, plant them beneath your shoulders. Parallel the feet. We're setting up for a tripod headstand. Bring your hands where you can see them, and then bring the crown of the head onto the floor. Claw into fingers, rise up to tippy toes, and then slowly let your legs float all the way up. Find your breath here. Make sure the weight is evenly spread out through the hands. Keep those elbows right over the wrists. They're going to tend to widen out, but we want to maintain that little hug in the chest muscles. And once again, keep the back of the neck nice and long. Stay for 2. Last one. Widen out the legs. Kick through the heels when you're about halfway down. And then take your feet back down onto the floor right where you found them. Lengthen and lift on the inhale. Exhale, cruise your way to the top of the mat. Let's set up for a lizard pose, back knee down. Toe heel the right foot to the right. Plant your palms or lower onto elbows. Let's just stay like this in this lizard pose, really focusing on the front inner thigh hugging in. Naturally, the weight is going to want to collapse to the outside of the foot, and that knee's going to want to swing away. So we want to maintain the squeeze. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Imagine like you're trying to pull the floor towards you, and that should create a little bit more expansion across the collarbones and length through the spine. Slowly come back up onto your palms, and then move your right foot back in between the hands. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, fold the back heel down, and then move your right hand inside of that front foot. Left arm reaches up and then forward. Let's take a half bind, left hand behind the back. Maybe take a full bind, right arm underneath the front leg, clasp up the hands back behind you, bend the front knee. Turn your chest to square to the side wall. Seal that back foot to the floor. Baddha Parsva Konasana. Let's take this in a triangle pose. By all means, lose that bind if you would like to. Straighten the front leg. And then turn the back of your heart towards that front kneecap. Bird of Paradise. We're going to face the side of the mat. So turn the right toes to face that side. Left foot steps underneath you. Rise up to the tippy toe of your right foot. Drive down through the left heel, standing heel, to come all the way up to the top. When you're there, start to straighten through your wing. 3 breaths. 2. Superhero of the heart. Get nice and tall. Last one. Let's take it back down into bound Ardha Chandrasana. So step that right foot to the front of the mat. Transfer all of the weight into the front foot, tipping the back toes. And then with control, let that back leg swing back. Stay and breathe for 3. 2. Last one. Standing split, lose the bind, hands to the ground. Look up, top leg is high. Step it way back. Lower the knee. Untuck the toes. Let's straighten through your front leg. Take just a half split here. Shorten the distance from the heart to the big toe. And then bow the head in. Maybe crawl the hands a bit further forward. 2 more breaths. Last one. Come into a low lunge. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. We're looking at side plank. So left hand down, yogi toe lock, the big toe on that right foot with the right hand, and then start to swing that leg up high. Stacking shoulders and hips. Maybe look to the sky. Find your edge, try to push away from the floor to create that lift. 1 more breath. Chaturanga. Leg back, hand down, high to low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Stay for 3. 2. And 1. Lower onto your shins. Sit back on your heels. Take a moment to center and ground. Focus on your breath. Come on to hands and knees, please. Lower down onto your elbows. Tuck the toes at the back of the mat. Lift your hips. Walk your feet in and then step your right foot even closer. Left leg to the sky. Shift forward, bend the bottom knee. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pushing up into the elbows. Float that right leg, forearm balance. Let's keep it straight. Couple breaths to stay in play. Push into the elbows. Feel the armpits start to open. Gaze is steady. Right leg comes down first. Land soft. Lower all the way down. Let's take another rest. Downward facing dog. On your inhale, left dog split, leg high. Exhale, knee over to that right elbow. Kick the foot out, fall in triangle. Right arm up, right arm forward. Right arm down, dog split, left leg high. Step the foot inside the left thumb. Dial the back heel down, warrior 1, arms up. Hands back behind, make sure to switch up your grip here. Straighten the front leg, peel the toes up, look up, chin up, breathe in. Exhale, bend the knee, melt down. Tuck the shoulder inside of the knee if you can, if you want to go deeper into the hips. And you do, because it's going to make everything else we do a lot easier. 3. 2, make sure you're not dumping into that back ankle. Back leg is strong and long. Release the hands down. Shorten up your stance. Tent the fingers, lengthen and lift. Bow over that left leg. Palms to mat. Forehead to shin. 3. Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha. Remember, you're squeezing that pelvic floor up and hugging the belly in to create more space for the folds. Last one. Tent the fingers, lengthen and lift. Right hand inside or outside of left foot, left arm to sky. So sometimes it's nice to check in with this left leg. Make sure it's parallel with the long edge of the mat rather than swinging out to the side and then reach up and look up. Every exhale should feel like core work, driving the belly in on all sides. Take one more. Lower that top hand down. Bend the front knee. Lengthen out your lunge. Quarter turn to the right, wide forward fold. Tabletop spine, lengthen left. Exhale, bow down. Roll up to stand high goddess, heels in, toes out. Eagle wrap, left over right. Elbows up, look up. Fingers to floor, exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take it back down. One more time, inhale. Exhale, take it down. Release the hands, parallel the feet. Steer your fingers to face the opposite direction of your toes. And then walk your feet or hands as far in between your legs as you can. Crown of the head to the floor. Start to explore with tented fingers, maybe whole palms, and then rising up onto tiptoes. See if you can get those legs light enough to fly. Listen for your breath. So upside down poses are always an option, but an awesome option because putting weight on your bones makes your bones stronger. And especially as time goes on, having strong neck and backbones are pretty clutch, pretty important to life. If you are still up, straddle your legs out wide. Kick hard through the heels. And then let those feet come down nice and quietly. Inhale to lengthen and lift. Exhale, let's make our way to the front of the mat. Setting up for lizard pose with the back knee down, and then keep it simple. Stay on palms or lower onto elbows. Try to hug that left knee in. So we're looking for engagement in the inner thighs. Traction, pull the floor towards you, create that length. Single point of focus with the eyes. Super centered. Let's move into our bind sequence. Come onto your palms. Move that left foot back in between the hands. Set your legs up for warrior two, but don't come up. Left hand down, right arm up, and then forward for a traditional side angle. Bind halfway. Bind full way. And then squeeze yourself long from front shin to back foot as the shoulders square the side wall. Ease in the breath. With or without that bind, triangle pose. Take a second to settle into the shape. Give an extra squeeze to that front leg because we're going to need it in the next two poses. Bend your front knee. Turn the toes to the side wall. Step your right foot underneath you. Rise up to tippy toes on that left foot. Drive through the right heel to try to come all the way up. When you're up, explore straightening through that left leg. We got 3 breaths. 2. Last one. Half moon pose with the bind. Step that foot down. Transfer all the weight into the left heel. And then see if you can get that right leg to go straight back. It's always a balance of ease and effort. Lose the bind. Standing split. Look back, leg high. Step way back. Lower the knee. Untuck the toes. Straighten your front leg. Little break here. Get long. Micro bend that front knee. And you might even push down into the left heel. One more breath. Bend your front knee. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Right hand is strong to the floor. Left hand, grab the yogi toe lock if you can. Regular side plank is fine as well. Sweep it up and high to the sky. Finding that balance. 3, 2, last one. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Center and ground. Lower down onto your shins. Sit back on your heels. Do any maintenance pit stop work you might need. And then let's just focus on breathe. Let's take another look at forearm balance. Come down onto your elbows. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees. Walk the feet in a bit. And then step that left foot a bit further forward, right leg to the sky. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale to push up. Feel free to play with leg variations, scorpion, or working with the basics. It's all about being able to move the weight around. Never rigidly holding anything in any one particular place. Then start to reverse. Try to land with that left leg first. And then take another release. Sit up. Take 2 more breaths here. And then let's come in a downward facing dog. Inhale, right dog split. Exhale, step it forward. Rise up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a twist on the exhale over that front leg. Start with hands at heart center. And then feel free to fly away the arms. Or even take a bind, feeding that left arm underneath the front leg. Shallow breaths into the chest. Every exhale is a little compression of the left side of your stomach into the inner right thigh. Look over your top shoulder and then hold a grapefruit underneath your chin.
Look down. Release your hands down. Release the back knee down. Once again, let's just straighten through this front leg. We're not going to go too deep here. Just using this more as an opportunity to extinguish the fire that may have crept about your right thigh. Bow down deep. Let's come in a lizard pose again, moving your right foot over to the right, and then turn the toes out a little bit more, maybe like 2 o'clock. Option to drop down onto your left elbow. Option to reach the right hand back and grab the pinky side of that back foot. Squeeze it in close, look over your back shoulder, stack the shoulders, and then turn your collarbones to the front wall so you're getting a little bit longer, almost into a little bit of a back bend. Breathe in deep. Exhale out long. Release that back foot. Come back up onto your hands. Move your right foot back in between the hands and then drag it a little further back on the mat so you've got some space to plant your palms and come back in a standing split. Rock back into the standing heel, and then as you rock forward, claw the fingers, rise up on a tippy toes. We're going to do that a couple times, maybe using momentum to hop up into a handstand, preparation or practice. Inhale, rock back, take your own breath, and then pushing down. Inhale to rock. Exhale, push down. Stay and play a little. And then making our way back in a down dog. Take your time. Draw your right shin behind your wrists at the top of the mat. So we're going to use the fact that we might be a little tired from hopping to allow for this yin stretch, pigeon pose. Walk the hands back, lift the chest up, maybe arms up, and then melt down over that front leg. You can crawl your hands forward or prop yourself up onto your elbows. Try to really lengthen the tail back and the head and heart forward. Smooth out your breath. If you'd like to stay like this, please do. There's also a back bend that we can explore. Feel free to join. Walk the hands back. Make sure this right foot is tucked in a little bit. And then tenting the right hand out in front, circle the left hand back. Any bind you'd like. I'm going to reach back and go for the half bind, grabbing the big toe side of my back foot, sliding that back foot into the elbow crease. And then reaching the right hand back behind the head. Scissor back hip forward, forward hip back. Feel that length through the front of your body. Feel that stretch on the thigh of the back leg. Just continue to breathe. One more breath. Slowly release out. Take a right dog split, planting the palms, sending the leg back. And then step the foot forward in between the hands. Lower the back knee and untuck the toes. Half split, or let's work it in a full split. Scooch that right heel forward. Back leg back. Find your edge. 5 breaths wherever you're at. 3, 2, and 1. Come out nice and slow. Push down into the hands, get that right foot back on your mat. Downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Lower through your push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's keep moving. Left dog split. Step it forward. High lunge. Hands to heart. Breath in. And a twist. Hands in prayer. Or flyaway arms. Or set up for the bind. Big exhale to get in. Breathe into the heart. Look down, hands down. Release the back knee. Straighten through your front leg. Bow the head. Let's rebend that front knee. Move your left foot to the left and then turn the toes out to about 10 o'clock. Stay on a palm or lower onto your right elbow and then left hand reaching back. Grab the foot, give it a squeeze. Stack the shoulders. Look up and then shine the collarbones forward. Feel that expansion across the chest. We're not just breathing to stay alive, we're breathing to create space. Release. Come back up on your hands, move that left foot back to center, and then move the foot back a bit. Standing split. Rock back into the heel. You can tent the fingers. Rock forward into tiptoes. Claw the fingers. Drive through the palms. Rock back. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe a little hop. Play here. The sky's the limit. Repetition creates possibilities. Let's meet in downward facing dog. And then with no momentum, draw that left shin behind the wrists. Slide the right foot back. Untuck the toes, walk the hands back, breathe in. Maybe lift the arms up, creating strength and stability in the hips. Melt it down when you're ready. Stay and breathe for 5. Slow down the breath. Stay here, or let's come into back bend number 2. Walk the hands back. Bring that left foot in if you need to. Left hand out in front. Right hand circles back. Grab the big toe side of the foot. If you're taking the full bind, Naomi will take the full bind or half bind. Either way, scissor the hips. Five breaths. Three. Each breath is drawing us closer to that centered, relaxed place. Last one. Release out with control, or at least try. Left dog split leg high. Step that foot forward in between the hands. Release the back knee and untuck the toes. Shift your hips back. Here we are, half split one last time, or we're going to take it into a full split if you want to try. We utilize the fire to create the space, and then we dive deep into that space. 5. 4. 3. 2. Always being inquisitive with the sensations. Last one. Let's come on out. Drag that left foot back. Low lunge. Down dog. Forward to plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come on to hands and knees, please. Have a seat. Let's face the right side of your mat. And then bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees open wide. Tend the fingers out in front. Lengthen through the chest, crawl the hands forward. You can plant the palms, breathe in, and then bow down. Maybe crawl the hands a little further forward, and then bow down. 3. 2. 1. Rise up nice and slow. Grab your hamstrings and then straddle kick the legs out. Give a couple tugs back to really find that width in the inner thighs, and then take the hands back behind. Scoot your hips forward once or twice. Hands out in front. You could tent the fingers, lengthen the heart forward. Breathe in, crawl, 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 crawl. And then exhale, melt down. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Walk your hands back. Come on up. Let's come on to hands and knees facing forward. And then sit upright on your shins. Get your heels about as wide as the hips. So I've got space between my inner thighs. Take your hands on your heels with the thumbs in, fingers out. Let's lift the hips up And then start to push your hips forward, coming into camel pose. Let the head drop back if it feels right. Keep driving your hips forward, but we don't want them to pass the knees. So if ever you need to look, that's totally fine. Feel the belly squeezing in, inner thighs hugging together. We have this habit of kind of spilling out into the hips. Imagine that you have a block between your legs. Try to squeeze that block for inner thigh engagement. 3. Tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. 2. Last one. Just start to sit back towards your heels. You might want to scoot forward on your mat a little bit. Now let's bring the knees together and then get your heels wider than your hips. You might need to pull your calves outside of the hamstrings. It's better care for the knees, especially if you're feeling any pull on the kneecaps. Getting those calves out of the way will help to create a little space. Touch your toes with your fingers and then plant the heels of the palms back. We could start with that. If you want to lower down onto your elbows, find your edge. You'll know when you found it because you'll be tempted to stop breathing. You can open up the elbows, maybe bring the back of the skull onto the floor, and then eventually tucking the chin to the chest to lengthen through the back of the neck. Supta Virasana, 5 breaths. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Take your time coming up. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Whatever you're doing, keep breathing. Slowly come on to elbows, palms. Come on to hands and knees, tabletop. And then let's come down onto our belly. Flip over onto your back. Facing the sky. Draw the right knee into the stomach. Straighten out the left leg. Kick through both heels. And then bring that right knee about 90 degrees. 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at the knee. Draw that right knee over to the left for a twist. Scoot your shoulders to the left. Reach your right arm out, palm facing up. Look to the palm. Breathe in deep. Exhale, squeeze. 3. Every exhale is an opportunity to wring out the spine, and I am using my left hand against the right thigh to create that deeper stretch in the outer right hip. Last one. Exhaling everything out. Come back through center, plant your feet on the floor so that we can even out the hips, shoulders, and all that. Left leg in, right leg long. Give it a squeeze. Kick through the heels, both feet. Back that left leg up to 90, 90, 90. Hip, knee, and heel, and then draw it over to the right. Scoot your shoulders a bit to the right. Reach your left arm out. Look out to the left. And then push down onto that left outer thigh. Take one more breath. Squeeze it out. Come back through center. Even yourself out onto the mat. Hug the knees in. And then let's kick our heels to the sky. Bring your hands onto the mat, down below your hips. Breathe in, exhale, push into the palms, lift the hips. Plow pose. Squeeze the legs long. Feel that stretch on the back of the neck. Focus on not really breathing in much at all, but exhaling out very long. And then we could take our hands to the lower back Setting up for shoulder stand. One or both legs to the sky. Reach them high. Stay for 5. So we want the knees to point straight over your head, not dialing out to the sides. And especially if you're sweaty, just notice if the hands start to slide down the back. Make sure they're up high enough so that you can really support your hips over your heart. And then passing back through plow pose, nice and slow. Hands to the mat. Roll down, one backbone at a time. Lengthen your legs to the floor. Point through the feet and then prop yourself up onto your elbows so that you can see your toenails, sitting up for Matsyasana. Lift the chest, lift it high, squeeze into those long muscles of the back, and then let the head drop back. Maybe it touches the floor. If it does and you want to float your palms above your groin, maybe legs too. Tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Listen for your ocean breath. And then legs down if they're lifted. Elbows down, lift the head, chin to the chest. Release onto your back. Hug your knees in. Take a happy baby. Pull and kick. And then maybe straddle out the legs wide. Big straddle split. Try to lengthen and widen through the back. Bring your knees and ankles to touch. Wrap your arms around your shins and squeeze your forehead towards your kneecaps. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Let's lengthen out into the final rest of Shavasana. Long legs, feet wide. Spread yourself out. Hands facing, palms facing up, down by your hips. Scan through the body. Get specific. Observe yourself down to the fingernails and toenails and see if you can bring everything into a deep state of relaxation. Try to disengage everything except the breath, which is now at this point breathing you. We can let go of our ocean sound and just allow the breath to happen. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Release it out the mouth. Drag your arms long up over your head. Lock the thumbs together. Reach through the fingers. Straighten through the legs. Draw your legs together. Point through the toes. Give yourself a big long stretch. Fingernails to toenails. And then draw your knees back into the belly. Roll to your right side. Take a brief pause. Fetal position. Let's press up to a tall seat. You can face the top of your mat. Let's bring the palms to press at the center of the chest. Take a breath in through the nose. Audible sigh. Join me in a closing Om. Take a breath. Bring your thumbs to the forehead. Let's bow, recognizing the divine within all of us. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice. Let me know if you have any questions. See you soon.